there'd be a lot of poop in my pants. I've seen a 6-foot alligator go swinging through the air and slam into a tree.
These guys are the scientists of the supernatural, lecturers leaving lessons for inquiring laymen. They are applying the scientific method to a world that baffles science. They are the cryptids of the corn.
But who else has big black wings and red eyes?
Batman.
Oh, Mothman.
Oh yeah, Mothman.
A great white shark was stolen.
Oh, someone stole a shark?
I got stuff for you don't even know about.
She's a witch. She turned me into a newt.
Who knows? Anything could be possible. Anything could be possible.
It's really big abduction vibes.
Holy moly.
It sounds like you were abducted.
And it just stood up. I mean, it just like kept going and going. And she goes, what the?
Mothman, there's no need to feel down. I said, Mothman, lift that man off the ground. I said, Mothman, because you're in a new town and there's kids to be abducted. Mothman, there's a place you can go. I said, Mothman, when you make your eyes glow, you can stay there. And I'm sure you will find many ways to scare the townsfolk.
Welcome back to Cryptids of the Corn podcast. I'm the great and powerful Mystery.
And I am J Clone 215 today.
And that was Mothman YMCA by Studio Bunny.
Thank you, Studio Bunny.
Thank
Shout
you,
out to
Studio
you. Thanks for letting us use that.
Yeah. It's 20 years old or something like that. I think it was 10, 12 years old.
Oh,
But
okay.
it makes me laugh every time. That's the song we sing for every Mothman episode.
If you haven't caught on yet.
It's been 2 years if you haven't caught on.
Right. Oh, my goodness. Oh, so Chicago Mothman.
Part 2.
Duh.
Of what you remember back. It's a lot older than most people realize. These encounters have happened
If
in
you-
the Chicagoland.
Didn't listen to the first part of this one. Just pause right now. Go back.
I've been corrected.
Uh-oh.
It's on 2 different things. It's not Cairo. It's Cairo.
Oh, Caro.
And it's in southern Illinois.
Ah, what did we say?
I thought it was one of those tiny, the 50,000 suburbs of Chicago.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So just
Hey, we have a Caro around us.
Cairo.
Well, yeah. No, I think it's Caro.
No, I thought it was Cairo. Well,
See,
there you go.
it's all spelled the same. It doesn't matter.
It was Bob.
Semantics.
Bob corrected me because he lived in Illinois forever.
Oh, it was Bob? Oh, then it does matter. Never mind. Take it back.
Being so mean.
Take it back. No, it's not being mean. It's being nice to you, but now I
So
do
we
take
remember
it back.
a lot of kid encounters, and I thought it was funny that the Mothman Studio Bunny one was. There's plenty of kids to
Abduct. Yeah, that's weird, kind of.
So that and somebody reminded me. I think it was Benjamin Lowe reminded me to post a picture. So thank you, Benjamin, about that crazy one.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of these aren't very Mothman-like, and I think both things that we've already kind of discussed as threads will still follow through.
Okay. I understand.
So the goal of this episode is to get from 2000 to 2016.
That's 16 years of Mothman.
Well, yeah, the next episode is pretty much just 17.
So, yes. Odd.
So you ready for this first one?
Yes.
As we start rolling, we're going to start towards the end of this episode, I'm only going to read kind of the general thing, not the whole encounter.
Okay.
Because we start getting a lot of them turned in. So maybe only do one from every year instead of doing all of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because 2000 through 2016, I mean, if you just do one,
It sounds like a lot, but like
it's still
I think-
16 separate encounters if you
I
do
think
one a year.
15 didn't have one. I think there's a couple years that didn't have any reported.
Okay.
So it's
Reported.
just- yeah.
Yeah.
But then like 16 had like several.
Right.
The summer of 2000, 2 friends reported a weird winged entity at the Goshen Dam in Indiana. That's where the bus is from.
Is it really?
Goshen, Indiana.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's from where Mothman.
You might have Mothman eggs in the back of that thing.
Oh, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it? Actually, the bus may have been in Goshen, Indiana in 2000.
See? We just brought a Mothman home. He's living under the bus. That's what that noise was when we first took off.
There we go. No, that was the muffler breaking.
Oh, yeah.
that was that.
Oh, yeah. Mothman loosened it.
Mothman he stole my catalytic converter.
Yeah, he gnawed it off.
I want that hat. Mothman stole my catalytic converter. So once again, this is Lon Strickler and the Singular Fortean Society website.
Oh, that's right.
They
yes.
did the timeline. So
Strickland.
What did I say?
Strickler.
No, it's Strickler.
Oh. Oh, we might have to make a correction on that last one then.
What'd you put? It's always been Strickler. I said Strickler the whole last episode.
Maybe I'm misremembering.
Did you type something wrong?
We'll see.
All right. So once again, he says, I came across the Facebook timeline and automatically brought back some. Oh, sorry. So this person that reported their encounter with this winged entity. I came across your Facebook timeline and it automatically brought back some rather scary yet crazy memories of a run-in with what everyone has been recently seeing in the Chicago area. It's something very similar. It was back in the late summer of 2000, around that time of year. I was at the park and dam in town, and the town is named Goshen, Indiana, that people frequently visit during the day. Been to the Goshen Dam.
Mm-hmm.
It's good fishing. A friend of mine lived there right near the dam, and sometimes at night we would head over and just hang out. One clear night, we decided to take a walk in the dam since there was a full moon out and it was really bright. So we figured, why not? Don't do it.
Full moon.
How many times? No, do you remember last episode?
Yeah.
Full moon. Like,
oh, I get it.
okay. So we walked in the dam, which is about a 5-minute walk. Once we get to the dam area, there's a long path along the top of the lake that you have to walk to get to the end where the dam starts. We were walking there normal, just talking and looking in the sky as we approached the end of the area of the dam. There were some steps to go down to the bottom of the dam. That's usually where people like to fish. Anyway, we were hearing a loud rumbling, like rocks moving like crazy down below. We were like, what the heck is that noise? What's going on down there? All of a sudden, we hear a whoosh. It was something similar to the whoosh sound you hear in the pterodactyls in Jurassic Park movie. That was the only way I could describe the sound. It flew right over the edge of the dam, and it was too dark to see it clearly. What we did see was the outline of something swooshing in the moonlight. I remember feeling an intense rush of air as it flapped past. I've seen a lot of birds growing up in the country and traveling to all kinds of the nature parks, and this was no ordinary bird. It was very scarily similar to the creature in mid-flight when its wings opened up, like the creature in Jeepers Creepers.
Oh, okay. That is quite frightening.
Creepers! Where'd you get those peepers? I stole them from a 16-year-old boy. That's where he got his eyes in the movie.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He killed one of the kids and pulled out the eyes and
Been
replaced it.
Very long time since I've seen those.
Okay. But he says that wasn't the scary part. So he's saying that
that's not the scary part?
Basically, the creature from Jeepers Creepers was not the scary part.
Not even the scary part.
Not more than 3 whooshes up from its wings, we hear a brush behind us that's leading it towards the woods and moving around. Then we hear a big, loud bang. Someone was shooting at it.
Oh, dang.
We bolted out of there as fast as we could, sprinting back towards the parking lot at the end of the dam, when we heard a loud crash on the opposite side of the lake, where we think the creature landed or fell to the ground.
Oh.
We got back to my friend's house, and we heard tons of police sirens. We didn't go back out, but when the next day we see that the crash was on the opposite side of the lake, there was a huge broken tree branch, but nothing else. A man was outside walking around the area, and she said he lives nearby and heard something that sounded like a plane crash in the trees that night. But there was no sign of anything besides the broken tree. My friend and I were talking that the thing, every time we see each other, his uncle witnessed something very similar in 2002 in South Bend, Indiana. But the real question is, who was it that was shooting at the thing?
Right.
That's what bugged me most of all these years. We may joke that it was Van Helsing. But yeah, I hear stories that make me think that there's other things out there like it. So yeah. Somebody shot it from the tree line.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Tons of people have shot Mothman, right?
Yeah, nothing happens.
The second he shot it, it crashed hard.
Dropped it, whatever it was, yeah.
So on Patreon and stuff, we've discussed this idea of the cryptic containment program. that there is this group, literally like MIB, like from the movies,
Right.
and they may be the real MIB in real life, where they go out and contain these interdimensional or paranormal or supernatural entities. Man. And that they knew it in the second, whoever shot at it was probably hunting it.
Yeah.
I don't know if the kids scared it off, like they ruined the hunt, or if it was going for the kids and then whoever shot it took the shot.
Right, yeah.
But it crashed hard, it destroyed a whole bunch of trees.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? This one is crazy to me.
Yeah, I don't know. This is nuts. But the craziest part is that there's the down tree, the evidence. Oh, I got to buy
the
drink.
beer tonight.
Man, I thought it was in the fanny pack. I think it was. Got unzipped. It's unzipped. Oh, man.
Does you a lot of good.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't do any good at all.
You better have me a 6-pack of my Angry Orchards on the counter when I come out for euchre.
Already in a ice bucket?
Yeah.
All right. Deal. It's a shame on me.
So what? Sorry.
But that there was the evidence of the tree, crashed down the next morning. Like, that's pretty substantial. I mean, I guess it could be anything that could have downed a tree.
But it was
in the area where they heard the crash.
And then he was talking to his neighbor that was out walking the area looking. He's like, no. And his neighbor's talking, I know, I heard a plane crash last night. Like a plane had crashed. And then the loud bang. Obviously we can't talk to the eyewitnesses or whatever.
Right.
I wonder if it sounded like a normal gun or if it sounded more like an air gun or something like that. You go a whole tranq dart or poison dart or
it's an air cannon. It shoots a concentrated ball of air. Put a hole right through this thing. Maybe bullets can't kill it. It's got to be something like that.
They could be right with Van Helsing. We talked about the couple from last week. They looked very demonic.
Yeah.
Everybody, I think it was Brandon put on Facebook. It looked just like him after he shotgun a Four Loko. Big red eyes and just screaming.
The old Four Locos.
Yeah,
man. But yeah, that's crazy. It's that MIB's the movie soft disclosure.
Oh yeah, and they never seen the person or the persons or whatever that
whatever shot. Yeah.
They just knew it sounded like a gun, and then the creature obviously tanked it right after.
Yeah,
which to me is just so strange because Mothman has been shot. Bigfoot. You talk about all these things have been shot. 99% of the time, nothing happens. Right.
Right. Exactly.
And
well, it was probably just somebody's kite they were flying. I'm being
it's a drone. It was a drone in 2000.
Year 2000, yeah. No, I'm putting on my janitor / head of science club hat. It was probably a kite. It definitely was a kite. We did an experiment the night before, and the sound of the bang was the line snapping, and the kite tanked it.
It was the janitor running the science program, and his balloon had got caught up in the dam.
Right.
The bang was the string of the balloon breaking.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then the balloon was a heavy balloon that crashed into the trees.
It was a lead balloon.
Exactly. See, problem solved. Easy. Case closed. Next.
Case closed. Next. Oh my gosh.
Don't you feel like a
scientist? My blood pressure's rising.
I feel like very smart and scientific.
Yeah.
I feel qualified.
Qualified. That's the word. Sandhill Crane.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Next one.
June 21st, 2001. An eyewitness and 2 friends reported a man with wings flying over the Kinnickinnick River in Milwaukee.
Okay.
Kinnickinnick. It's one of the rivers I haven't been on.
I don't know that one.
It's a little river in Milwaukee.
Apparently so.
They reported that they seen this winged man flying over their boat docking facility in the Kinnickinnick River in Milwaukee on June 21st. And they literally turned this in like right after it happened. This past Sunday, I was a part of a live online alien experiencers chat session, Strickler said. And I mentioned the Phantom's Monsters page, and we were discussing some of my work. One of the participants who had lived in Milwaukee talked about a winged humanoid that mentioned that he had a sighting in 2001. He was unaware of the Chicago area Mothman sightings and Wisconsin sightings recently. So I asked the witness to call me after the session. We're gonna call this witness AD.
Okay.
AD called me after a few hours. He stated that his sighting occurred on June 21st, 2001 at a docking facility on the Kinnickinnick River, now called Horny Goat Marina.
Oh, nice.
Now, do you know Horny Goat's like a restaurant in the Chicagoland? And
I think I've heard of it, yes.
It's supposed to be really good. We tried to eat at it twice, and it was just too busy.
Yeah.
But everybody said it's really good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're not that busy if it's not good. So.
Right. But is that like the social media thing where, it's clout? to go to the horny goat.
I guess maybe. Yeah, the influencers chasing that clout.
But I think from everything I've seen, it looks just like a really good restaurant.
Yeah.
Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, me too.
So it's located, they actually give the address, which I'm not going to give, but it's in Milwaukee Bay on Lake Michigan.
Okay.
AD and two friends were taking a sailboat out of a dry dock. It was early afternoon. They looked up at the mast and noticed a winged flying object in the east of his location. AD is a military veteran, and the sighting was quite confusing. It was a clear sky, bright sunny day, so he was able to see the object in great detail, which, before I continue, that's odd already for one of these winged humanoid Mothman
in the
sightings. Day? Midday, like
right.
Sunny day, it's not stormy and stuff like it's just odd already. It's clear sky. You'll see everything. So he also stated that it was hard to judge the altitude of the object. As he watched, it began to distinguish more detail and soon realized it was not a craft. It was apparently that this was a man with wings, and it was actually quite large. It appeared to be that the man with wings was quite large. He estimated that he had a huge bat-like wings that were approximately 30 feet across from tip to tip that were attached to its hips.
Okay, that's different.
Now, and we'll get to it. Okay. Hips are, it's weird. The body in which the entity was medium brown, at about 10 feet in length, with a head with no neck, and seemed to be a part of its upper torso.
Okay.
So kind of Mothman-ish, and then some kind of not.
Oh, I'm getting another vibe for this, but go on.
If you say Blemmy or whatever the heck you're thinking of, I'll punch you. I'll punch you in the stomach. If you say the word, I will punch you in the stomach.
Blemmies don't fly. I said it. I'm just waiting. Yeah, I thought you just catch that. They're not blemmies. I know what this is, though. But
the arms were attached to the wings also.
Oh, shoot.
So what I think this is saying is it like the bottom, like imagine like a bat's wings. You know, a bat's wings are attached to like its leg, but also run up and it's attached to the arm. Like the top of the wing is its arm, and then the membrane stretches down to the hip.
Right, exactly.
That's what I kind of get from this description. There's no drawing or anything, so.
Okay.
Just so we're all clear. Where was I? It had no legs, but instead there was a notable structure in its back. The wings appeared to never flap its wings a single time. It just kind of glided. But most interesting aspects of the wings were being that it was twice disappeared, then reappeared during a short time that AD and his friends were observing it. Like it was phasing in and out of reality.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
AD and the pair had a pair of binoculars handy and briefly watched it as best as he could. Since it was flying about very quickly. At the end, it vanished out of sight, which amazed the three eyewitnesses. AD said he had a sense that it knew we were watching it. So this is kind of a mix of some pretty Mothman-y stuff and some pretty not Mothman-y stuff.
Right.
So no legs. It just kind of had like a long torso.
Yeah.
It's hard to kind of picture, right?
Yeah, it is very.
So I can imagine like a Russian doll with wings.
Okay.
Or no neck, that big kind of round head.
Yeah.
But no legs, they just kind of end, and then big wings, big giant bat-like wings. But it was phasing in and out of reality, and it didn't flap a single time.
Yeah, that's weird.
What are your thoughts?
Well, at first I was thinking Bat Squatch until you kept going. And then Bat Squatch is probably out the window on that one, because brown, doesn't have the blue fur. But, almost, that is odd. Honestly, I'm almost thinking like, especially not flapping, I wonder if it's like a military like vehicle. Now,
remember they said that a lot with the original Mothman stuff.
Yeah.
Because people thought it was a person wearing some kind of military garb or something. Now, I'm not saying, and a lot of the Glimmerman sightings have that aspect too, to where they think it's a human.
Yeah.
Wearing stuff and just kind of torturing people.
Right. Hiding out. There you go. Torturing's good. Psychological manipulation.
Yeah. And I brought it up a lot of times, right? In Idaho, the guy that had the Glimmerman encounter in the woods and it followed him home.
Yeah. And
he pointed a gun at it and said, I'm going to shoot. I know you're there. I know you're a guy and I know you're there. And it literally walked out and then went out the door.
Yeah.
Like opened and closed the door and everything.
That's craziness.
And it's because a dog caught it.
That is insane.
And, he was an ex-military veteran and all that too. So,
he should have just shot.
He was the one that was pretty. No, he probably shouldn't have because we would have never heard the story.
Yeah, but he could have had the technology.
No, he would be dead in about 10 minutes.
Maybe.
They'd have just carpet bombed his house and said it was a propane leak.
Okay. Like that house in Virginia that just blew up.
Oh, I was thinking the one down the street.
Or it was in D.C. Huh?
I was thinking the one down the street.
Oh,
Remember that night? We drove past it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was crazy. It looked like a tornado went through.
And we didn't know. Anyways.
We didn't know, that the whole house blew up that day.
Yeah.
It's scary.
So, I don't know. A giant Russian doll with wings.
Yeah.
Phasing in and out of reality. But no flapping Mothman.
Yeah.
The round big head Mothman. The no neck Mothman. The kind of color and general thing Mothman. The no legs is a weird one. That's not Mothman. And then that feeling of either unease or where it knows we're watching it.
Yeah. And the phasing in and out of reality, like what? Is it cloaking? Is it actually like slipping in and out of like our dimension? I don't know. It's weird.
And broad daylight is a weird one too.
And that's on top of all of it. Yeah. Not Mothman. Not Mothman characteristic at all.
I mean, it got pushed out of its home during the day or whatever.
And now, and it lost Lieutenant Dan itself with its legs. And
so I'm just going to read the title for this one and we're just going to skip over it.
Okay.
September 8th, 2021, a woman reports...
2000 what?
21. Or 2001.
Okay, I was going to say.
Sorry. A woman reports 4 red-eyed winged humanoids flying over her home in Berwyn, Illinois. Berwyn. Like, not Berlin. Berwyn.
Okay. Berwyn.
Now, this was a big one in the Small Town Monsters documentary. In their, in the Terror in the Skies, they did a big chunk of the Mothman in Chicago.
Okay.
That's kind of why I'm skipping over it. But in short, she was in her backyard next to. So she says Cairo, but just outside of Chicago. So I don't know if there's 2 Cairos in Illinois. There probably could be.
Cairo
or whatever.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob. So she says it's that one. But she was basically having a picnic. It was 10 o'clock. It was 10 o'clock.
And she's seen how many of them?
Night 4.
4, dang.
And she called 911 and everything like that.
Dang.
So it's a weird one. If you want to see more on that one, go watch Small Town Monsters, a good friend of the show.
Yeah.
And that's a really nice, I like that documentary they did. We're going to jump to 2002. I almost said 22.
Yeah, there you go. 2002.
Dyslexia.
Yep.
January. So one reports a terrifying encounter with a red-eye winged creature in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm pretty sure we have friends in Madison. Is that where they're from?
I think so. You're talking Scaryland?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nick and Jake.
Yep.
So they were contacted by a woman who was looking for assistance in finding answers to an incident her mom had 20 years ago. So the woman who agreed to her first name, which is Salin, was referred to in the Singapore Society, but also in Adam Benedict's Pine Bearing Institute, which we love Adam Benedict's work also.
Yep.
So according to the email, back in December of 2001, our apartment complex completely burned down. We lost everything. The company my father had worked for had ended up paying us for a full refurbished apartment until ours was rebuilt. At that point in time, we lived in Madison, Wisconsin, more specifically, Allied Drive, or Allied Drive, Allied.
I think you're right first. Allied. Yep.
But the place that burned down, so we were sent to a place right off the Seminole Highway exit on the Beltland Highway. In January of 2002, about 2 weeks after the fire, my mom got off at our exit. We turned left, and we were coming up to the second set of lights. And my mom saw what she believed was a large bat-like creature. She said it was very opaque in color. Details are harder to make out because it was the evening when this happened. It was very large, and said that when she turned her head to look at the thing, it turned and looked right at her.
Oh gosh.
She believed it made direct eye contact with her. Its eyes were glowing red. Its face was very, very bat-like from what she could see. It was flying, but it wasn't flapping its wings like a normal bat. Instead, it was more like it was gliding and moving around. I don't know how else to explain it, but it was the flying in the opposite direction we were going. She tried to get a better look, but it was gone pretty much as soon as it appeared. Mm-hmm. I was in the car when this happened, but I didn't see anything. But I do remember my mom screaming and panicking. A few weeks had gone by, and we were back in our original apartment. Our basement was one laundry machine and one dryer. I could remember. And directly across from our apartment was a storage unit. After moving back into the rebuilt apartment, my mom decided she was going to do laundry and went downstairs. As she went to do laundry for whatever reason, she decided to turn around and look into the storage unit. After a minute, she noticed something was on the very back wall behind all the junk. She had focused more on what exactly she was seeing, and she believes she saw the very same creature hiding in their storage unit.
Oh, so it followed him home. Perhaps.
Not only followed him home, was hiding in their storage unit across the street.
Yeah.
She saw its large bat-like face, the same red eyes glowing. She said it had been staring back at her the whole time. She was completely panicked. She ran as fast as she could back up the stairs, and she never went down the stairs again at night. We moved out very soon after because my mom almost would never leave the apartment.
Jeez, okay.
About 2 or 3 days after the second incident while seeing the creature, she said she saw a few news reports of a sighting of a creature very similar to what she had seen in the area. My mom and I over the years had done our best to research into this, and we were tired, and we tried very, very hard to find articles and reports of sightings, but for whatever reason, it seems like they were completely removed. Almost like there was no one wants the reports going public. And she just goes in. She stumbled across Adams and Tobias Wayland from Small Town Monsters. Stumbled across their work and found Strickler's work also.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, basically that's that encounter. To where she also said it was blue.
Oh, okay.
I'm lying. I knew you'd think
Oh,
that's
dang
Squatch.
it. Well, don't tease me like that.
I knew it was. No, but opaque, so pale, a very pale, weird color.
Okay.
Like opal, that's kind of what I picture, like almost a milky white.
I thought opaque meant like you couldn't see through it.
Let me make sure I read the color right. Talk for a second.
Okay. Well, I mean, if this thing shows up in her, first of all, I mean, locking eyes, sure, I can get that. Like, coincidence, you look at it, it looks at you. You know when things stare at you. You get that sixth sense.
She described it as opaque.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what that means as in color. She says opaque in color.
Okay. Interesting. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay. Continue.
I don't know. But with this thing showing up in her storage unit, this goes beyond like just a normal, I don't know, flesh and blood creature at this point. In my opinion, it's got to be something more.
So this one is very organic-y, besides the gliding, but it could have just been gliding. Giant fruit bats glide. They don't.
Yeah.
Depending on where it was moving.
But it showed up in her storage unit.
Now, the apartment had recently burned down, so I'm assuming it was vacant for a period of time. What did we talk about with a lot of Mothman and even Bat Squatch? Vacant areas they move in. If their storage unit was left unlocked, it's kind of like a little cave, right?
Yeah, but it's her specific one. Come on.
I'm just saying it could be all coincidence.
Yes, but
This one's very, very bat-like.
yeah, but it just almost makes me think like I don't know. There's especially the red eyes. It's the red eyes that get me. It makes me just think it's something more than just a flesh and blood creature.
I looked up what the term means in this aspect.
Okay.
It means one solid color.
Oh, okay. All right.
So they couldn't tell what it was, but I'm going to guess dark because it was dark outside. They just could tell the creature was one color.
Right. It didn't have like all sorts of different browns and blacks
Wasn't
and
a
blues. Wasn't a what?
Ropin.
No ropin.
They're very colorful.
Or what's that Colorado?
Oh no, Colorado.
The rooster. Do you have a little stuffed animal of it somewhere? And it's not. It's in there somewhere.
I can't say the name on this show.
Oh, okay. Well, it's like that. It's not. Oh, it's not like that. So yeah, opaque.
Yeah, that's a funny one.
But yeah, I don't know. This one's just not with those circumstances. If it's all 100% true, that's just more to this. Like it's something stalking her at that point, and it might be more spiritual thing. Like something manifests itself. I don't know. It's weird. It's creepy. I don't know. I can't explain that.
It's definitely. See, I don't get that feeling from them because I get why it scared the heck out of her.
Well, yeah.
Because it's a giant bat.
In your storage unit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be running with red eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Now I seen a bat with yellow glowing eyes.
Reflective.
What was it reflecting though? I don't know. It was.
How'd you see it?
It was behind a picture frame. My dad lifted up the picture frame behind it, and it turned
from the hallway.
I guess. I mean, the whole room was lit up with a light, I guess.
Lucid Percatum.
But it did a whole 180 with its head. And it stayed attached to the wall and then just had these big yellow eyes. And it freaked us out. But it didn't jump off the wall or nothing. Bats are scary.
Another possibility is she had the first encounter with her daughter, right?
Yeah.
It panicked her so bad that she may have had either a panic attack or anxiety overload. And they just lost their home and they were just in a very stressful situation.
She could have opened the storage unit and seen something glowing.
Just like a pile of clothes that kind of was in the shape or whatever. And the human brain just is like,
Yeah, there it is again.
And you got to remember, this had to be an extremely stressful time in their life.
Oh yeah.
The brain in stress all kinds of crazy stuff can happen. So I can see that being a factor in this too.
Yeah,
I do believe that she had her first encounter.
Right.
And then
you might be on to something though with that second one.
Kind of after that.
Yeah.
They just, because how did it get, I get the paranormal aspect, but still in her storage unit. Why would it be in her storage unit? Just kind of sitting in the back.
Right. Yeah. Like, ooh, this is a good spot to hang out. Oh no, there's that lady again.
Yeah. All right. So this is one we're going to skip over the next two. Where I'm going to read the headlines. I can give you a little more information if you want. But summer of 2002, a teenager reports seeing a gargoyle with feathered wings in Badcock, Wisconsin.
Ooh.
And that's pretty much what it was. They see very much kind of like that first episode, almost a monkey-like creature.
Yeah, a lot of gargoyle references in that first one.
So very similar, same creature in Badcock, Wisconsin.
Okay.
In October of the same year, one report seeing a winged humanoid swooping over her car on the same road where 2 years earlier she had seen a diamond-shaped UFO.
Ooh.
It was Rockford, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicago.
Okay.
But as she approached the creek, they observed a large diamond-shaped UFO hovering over the creek, over the stream itself, which I think that's the Des Plaines River. That's what she's talking about.
Okay.
But
I don't know.
Gross. Gross.
Gross River?
There was one, I can't name it. I can't name the creek. There's a creek that is so salty near the Des Plaines River from a chemical plant that brine algae grows in it.
Brine algae?
And brine flies are in it.
Ew.
It is so salty, it's toxic. But so basically the whole river looks like a shag carpet and the only life is maggots.
Oh, that's disgusting.
It's a horrible place.
And you had to wade through that?
Yes.
Ew. Were any fish in there?
No. No.
Surveyed it.
We've seen one dead crawdad.
Oh, there you go.
That came out of like a little headwater creek and walked into that and fried.
Instantly, yeah.
But yeah, so basically, and then the second encounter, so she's in this diamond-shaped UFO hunt. In the second encounter, very similar to the Scarberry encounter where this Mothman-like creature was swooping her car and attacking her car. And we had that happen several times previously. The other one from last week was in Rockford, Illinois also.
Oh, okay.
Rockford's a weird town.
Apparently so.
Now, you ready for 2003, or do you have anything to add?
I don't know. I mean, if we haven't already established it, this whole area, and it's not even like maybe Chicago is like the hub.
I think it's. I don't want to ruin it. I think it's more apt to call this series
the Great Lakes
Mothman.
Yeah, but Chicago does seem to be a focal point,
and I think it could be that there are many times more people.
Yeah, true.
So the encounter rate probably goes up a
bit. Okay. That's one explanation.
Tight culture, like a lot of people living in one little area.
Right.
So there's always somebody out.
Seeing something, yeah.
We'd when we were sitting in the tailgate at like 2 a.m, there's always activity in Chicago. Like it never goes to sleep.
Yeah.
All right. Summer 2003, a young woman and her friend report an owl man outside her window in her house in Ellisip, Illinois.
And if anyone...
Ellisip. A-L-S-I-P.
A-L-S-I-p?
Yeah.
Alsip?
Alsip? Okay. Yeah. Alsip, Illinois.
And if anyone doesn't know, Mothman originally was called the Owl Man.
Yes.
So if you don't know that yet.
The reason they changed it is because Batman comics were getting big at the time, and it was too similar.
And Owlman was... I thought, isn't Owlman a character in Batman too or something? Or that come later?
I can't remember.
The timeline is...
But they were trying to capture... They kind of feed off the Batman stuff, but it was too big of a direct rip.
Yeah.
So they moved to Mothman.
Yep.
Yeah, but it was... Yes. Owlman. And then the European Owlman sightings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then La Trusa in Mexico. An owl lady. I recently came across your article, and this is the lady reporting this to Lon.
Mm-hmm.
I recently came across your article of the Chicago Owlman. I, along with other witnesses, have seen this creature or something very similar. This time was between somewhere in 2001 and 2004. I'm not quite sure at the time. I was quite young, but I'm pretty sure it was 2003. This is in Ellisip, Illinois, right at the intersection of 128th Place and Cairo.
Again, Cairo.
I even have screenshots of when I casually brought up the encounter again in 2005 to other eyewitnesses to corroborate. We both remember the encounter very vividly. I had only a silhouette view, but I can best describe the creature as about the size of a large human man, massive wings that it held in a defensive or pre-flight posture on its sides.
Ooh.
A human-like head, which seemed to be no distinguishable features, save for two very large, almost glowing yellow owl-like eyes.
Okay. That's different.
The creature shifted through the hedges and bushes and came right up to the bay windows of our room we were occupying, making loud noises as it slammed and pressed its body against the window, its eyes staring right at us in the room. The creature nearly took up the bay window's whole space. And it stayed there once it was in the window. Unlike an owl who accidentally flew into it, this was no regular owl. It was much too large. Its silhouette was massive, and its eyes were the size of baseballs. Being young, my friend and I quickly vacated the room in terror, and I alerted my sleeping father, who immediately searched the perimeter of the house and found nothing. I nearly teared up reading your witness. Or sorry, teared up. You're not even seeing it, and you know what I was. You nearly teared up reading your other witness accounts on the website, as it struck very close to home from the images that were burned in my mind. But that's basically their encounter.
Yeah, that's freaking scary.
So this giant owl, basically, with a human-like head.
Yeah.
But no features except the eyes.
Yeah.
Which are some of the very early Mothman, reports.
Pressing its body.
Slamming its body into the window.
Yeah. Yeah. Taking up the whole window?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's like something trying to just induce fear. I don't know. That's scary. That
or if you want to go with like some of the comic Mothman stuff, lamps.
Oh, yeah, there was a lamp there. Sorry. It just
like
got
a moth.
Got drawn right in, yeah.
Like slamming into it.
But the yellow eyes.
Yeah.
That's different. That's not Mothman.
I skipped over the one from whatever I just read earlier. It had yellow eyes.
Yeah.
Red.
But still, it's not your typical Mothman.
No, very, very different.
Yeah. But it's still.
Like a big moth. It's like a big owl.
Yeah, but I don't think it was an owl.
No, I don't think it was an owl either.
No.
And I think the size, once again, she said that she was very young, scary, and we've talked about this on the show a lot. Size can be inflated dramatically with fear-induced. Because your brain does that to get you to move away from predators more efficiently.
Right, yeah.
So could it have been a little bit smaller? Could it have been an actual owl? That's always a possibility, especially with these kind of cases. We've talked about with snowy owls and great horned owls will become very, very aggressive when they have their nest. They'll even attack houses. And they'll rip siding off and stuff like that. Like the house is going to move.
Right, exactly. If it's going to make it try.
So is that what happened here? A stunned owl slammed into the window and was seeing its own its own reflection, maybe.
It's just stuck there at the window, like.
Well, it could be fighting with its own reflection. Like another great horned owl had moved into the area, and it was trying to take its territory. Who knows? Anything is possible.
Yeah, that's true. Truer words have never been said by such an individual.
2004. 12-year-old boy and his friends reported a winged man, all in black, near Panther Creek in Auburn, Illinois. So once again, it's turned in. About 15 years ago, my son, who was 12 at the time, told me a story one day after I picked him up from his after school from his friend's house. They live right by a creek, and the boys always walk down the road to the creek to play in it. Word of warning: don't let your kids play in creek in Illinois, in northern Illinois.
Why is that?
I legally can't say.
Oh, it's too toxic.
I didn't say that.
I did.
I did get Vietnamese lungworms in a creek in Illinois.
There you go.
In northern Illinois.
Yeah.
Don't go in the creeks.
Is that near China, Illinois?
That's an old show.
I know. It's a good one, though.
That's one you're either not drunk enough for or too drunk. Anyways, where was I? So they would play. One afternoon, it was about 3:30 or 4 o'clock when the sun was still full in the sky, but starting to descend. It was a little blinding in their eyes. They were walking down the road to the bridge over the creek when they noticed a man standing on the road. Now, this is from the mouth of a 12-year-old. He said this man was standing there, looked like he was in all black, and said it looked like the man didn't have a neck. They were a little puzzled, but kept walking towards it. He said when it opened up its arms, quote unquote, straight up, and it appeared to have wings. And at this time, he said it just flapped one time. Its arms went down one time, and it said it took straight off into the air. Like it shot up like a rocket. They tried to see where it went, but said the sun was in their eyes. And then the dad says, I didn't know about this was happening until I heard this thing on Coast to Coast and then got a hold of you guys. Auburn is a city of just over 4,000 residents in kind of central Illinois, approximately 50 miles south of the state's capital, Springfield. So, a lot of similarities with this story. Once again, kids. A lot of kids involved in the Chicago Mothman stuff, or the Illinois Mothman, Lake Erie or Great Lakes Mothman.
Is this a government-created abducting machine?
No, because it's not doing a very good job, is it?
No, I get. Well, that's because the only accounts we get are the ones it's failed its mission.
Now, if we look back, I think it was in the first episode. I can't remember what city it was in, but it was near Chicago, where that one boy had walked away from his friends that were playing in the creek.
Yeah.
And seen the one stick its arm straight up, because remember, he thought it was a really tall black man. And it stuck its arm straight up, and then it took off.
Yeah.
Same thing. Years apart, whatever.
This kind of makes... Now I have to Google it to look. Maybe not entirely the same, but arm straight up with the wings under it, right? Mm-hmm. On top of the Hoover Dam, I've seen them too. There's these weird statues, like these angel beings. The angels in quote unquote. These people sitting on these chairs with their arms straight up and these big wings right under them, but they're like weird wings.
One of the Academy Awards or something like that have that kind of thing too.
Yeah, like Golden Globes or something. I don't know.
I got a guy with wings, arms straight
up. Something weird
but
stuff.
Very Mothman-esque for the fact it didn't have a neck and it shot straight up.
Yeah, and like one flap and it was up.
Yeah, it wasn't flying like traditional flying.
No, none of them are.
And I get the government aspect, but it's also that kind of, if it's interdimensional,
yeah,
they don't follow the same rules, right?
Right. But our government doesn't follow any rules either.
But you would think they would have to operate in our laws of physics.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, depending on the technology hand we're talking about, but no, if it's just biological, not at all.
Another report came from 2004. A woman reports seeing an all-black man with huge bat-like wings flying over a park near her home in
Cairo, Illinois.
Rockford.
Oh, okay.
Good guess. Well, Rockford pops up constantly.
Yeah.
The quick, Chicago humanoid sightings are sighting near Rockford. This park, and I can't remember if that first park in episode 1 was in Rockford or not. I could scroll back like 500 pages, but I'm not going to. But yeah, she was walking her dog. Suddenly her dog started furiously barking at something. And she's just seen this giant flying, Mothman-esque creature flying and kind of zipping around.
Yeah.
Very scary. She stunned and quickly ran away. Back door. She thought the creature was following her. Had a very, that intense fear reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nothing happened in 2005. Whew. Before we continue, we'll take our ad break. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Let me cue it up.
Oh no. Are you a cat? Cat remix?
All right.
And we're back.
And we're back. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that sweet ditty.
That sweet ditty.
Yeah. 2006. So nothing happened in 2005. But 2006, we had some activity.
He's back.
A woman and her family reported a man with bat-like features flying near their vehicle while driving in southern Wisconsin.
Okay.
Otherwise known as northern Chicago.
Yeah, basically.
Now, there was parts that when I was working a lot in Chicago where the amusement park is. And
Okay.
I can't remember if it's like a Six Flags or something. I think it's Six Flags.
Okay.
There's one up there way north of Chicago, right on the Wisconsin
Illinois border.
And there's literally a road. We'd go to Mill Creek, and Mill Creek goes in from Chicago or from Illinois to Wisconsin.
Okay.
It's just a little bit of where I've been because you can
gotcha.
you can see the roller coaster the whole time.
I thought you were going to tell some story.
No, that's where I almost got in the worst auto accident of my life.
Oh gosh.
Traffic stopped. I was in the big truck with the boat going 75 miles an hour, slammed on it, skidded. The boat was
That's scary.
jumped. Yes.
Yeah, screw that.
Yes, it was bad because there was another accident up there, and it was one of those things to where an accident happened and like all traffic stopped.
Stopped immediately. Gosh, dang.
So, yeah, so they had their encounter. August 2006, a man and his son report a large, dark being with cape-like wings in Bensonville, Illinois.
Okay.
Don't know where Bensonville is. It was near Highway 59, near X Road in southern Wisconsin, and Benson, so it must be up there. Sighting really took place at 9:30 p.m. on a night of July 15th or 16th, 2006. First of all, I would like to thank you for your site. Once again, this is the eyewitness talking to Lon.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I don't feel ridiculed to tell my story, even if I am. I don't care that skeptics think. I know what I saw, and this is the truth. I know what I saw!
It's the truth. Dang it.
In July of 2006, either 15th or 16th, my husband and I were in the process of moving from Milwaukee, Wisconsin to a small area between Whitewater and Eagle, Wisconsin. It was about 9:30 p.m. And there was a bright full moon
No, here we
in
go.
the clear sky. Now, I'm going to talk for a second. Here's just a thought, because we'll come to it, I'm sure, by the end of part 4. Is it just because there's more light, so you're more likely to see these things? Like, not that they're more frequent,
Yeah.
but there's just so much more light available on a full moon night, so you get a better view of these things? Or is it something to actually do with the full moon cycle?
Well, if it's actually on the full moon day and not like one of the days around it where it looks like full moon, but it's not. If it's on the actual day, I think it's because it's full moon. Because there's plenty of days like before and afterwards, pretty dang bright out. And so you should still be seeing something. If it's commonly happening every day around the full moon and the full moon day. But the fact that all these stories happen to be on a full moon, there's got to be something more to it.
But is it that same thing you just said, that is it not really a full moon?
Well, yeah.
And people are like, it was a full moon, and they look up because this moon is really big.
Right, it could be. I'm saying if they're all accurate and it is on the full moon day, there's something to it. I mean, that moon's a portal. It's a portal or something, or it's just it's an indicator. It's the day when the portals are opened or the veil is thin.
Heard it here first.
You did. Well, probably not, but I'm sure other people have that opinion.
We were traveling down Highway 59 east past Eagle, turning into Road X, a somewhat desolate stretch, a thin band of trees on each side of the road, with open fields behind them. This area is about 18 miles approximately east of Whitewater, located between Eagle and North Prairie, Wisconsin. My husband and I were driving with our 2 young children in the back seat, I believe which were asleep. Suddenly, swooping over the trees on our left, lowering down in front of the car's windshield, and upwards again towards the treetops on the right, gliding a somewhat slow ascent over the field, was what I would best describe as a man with bat-like features, flying like a bat. So once again, we've had this happen where they fly over the hood of the car.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it flying over the hood of the car? Is it on accident? Is it on purpose? We can come back.
Okay.
So I wanted to say that out loud. The creature was real as you and I are. We were very close up to it. It was long, maybe 6 to 7 feet in length. I say length because it was flying sideways, looking at our car, much like doing a side stroke. It was dark gray, very leathery skin, and its wings kind of tucked into its sides. So it was flying, but it had its wings tucked in.
Okay.
Once facing the ground, it was flapping kind of while it flew. The wings were huge. They were extremely like that of a bat's. They got me into what got me most was the eyes. They were extremely round. Where the white would be, looked ramily, Rhuemy. The best way to describe it. The iris were a very pale blue. It was not afraid. I was astonished, amazed, and even excited. My husband was shocked, and we would not stop when I asked him to. Smart man.
Yes. No, hey, there's this flying thing that's not even flapping its wings, looking right at me through my soul. Pull over. I'm gonna look at it.
So I hope this will bring you more. Will help bring more people forward to see this mysterious creature, other creatures like it. I was recently reading online a woman in Milton, Wisconsin, who was about 1960, who also seen this creature of the same description. It was noted that someone who witnessed this compared this creature to the movie
Jeepers Creepers.
Yes. And there are definitely a lot of similarities. I had never seen the movie yet, and prior to my sighting.
What? Okay, I don't remember the movie Jeepers Creepers, but what was that thing? Was it like a demon?
So it only came out like every 21 or 27 years.
Okay.
It basically it was kind of immortal, but it had to replace its parts. It had the ability to replace its parts with people and things.
Right.
And that's how it got its wings, is like, it was from the Jurassic. It took them literally from like a pterosaur.
Okay.
So it's a completely like, I guess you'd call it like an earth entity, like an earth elemental almost, where it's eternal. But it had to upgrade itself. So like literally it ripped off its head and took one of the other people's heads.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't, and it had like weird starfish bits inside of it. Like the core of it was almost like the core of the creature was in where its heart would be, and it's puppeting everything else around it using other people's bits.
Yes. Okay.
Very odd.
Okay.
And it's only active for a day or one night, I think, every like 27 years.
I'm just trying to figure out the soft disclosure angle from that, because there's something odd about something's.
But Cryptid podcast recently just had a listener submission where a similar bat Mothman-esque creature was chasing an ambulance on its side, not flapping its wings.
Same, just like this.
Just like this. And it was just, their East Coast. It was over there, one of their local towns. Very odd. And it's, very much bat-ish, Jeepers Creepers-ish, not flapping. Kind of flapping.
But not.
She describes it as kind of flapping. What I kind of get from that is maybe like fluttering, from the wind rushing past it.
Okay.
Like kind of like a cape, because she kind of, describes it as a cape. What's your thoughts? Is it awful?
Well, duh. Yeah.
Not many of these are very
Good.
Point Pleasant Mothman-ish.
Yeah.
With Point Pleasant, I think after the 4-parter we did, it came across like it was lost.
He's that interdimensional raccoon.
He's an interdimensional raccoon that just wanted to go home, right?
Yeah. You got
None of
pulled
these-
through the veil.
None of these sound very friendly.
No, these sound more sinister. Like, I don't know. Like, not that they're preying upon
Yeah,
humans,
not
but
that they're eating people,
but they're interested in humans, and I don't know. It's just
they scare the ever-living poo out of
the
people.
Dickens out of you.
So 2007, two friends reported seeing a flying humanoid with glowing yellow eyes in Prairie Creek Preserve, Indiana. So my mom had sent me your article because I have seen a humanoid at Prairie Creek Reserve. I originally from Muncie, Indiana, and grew up spending a lot of time in Prairie Creek because my family had a boat there. It was the summer of 2007 when we were taking a boat ride and watched the sunset. It was dusk and the sun was setting as we approached our dock. As we got closer, my friend and I both saw what looked like a human standing at the end of our dock.
Oh, nice.
And I thought it was strange because there was no one else around. Our neighbors' boats were all docked. There was not even any other cars around. We were the only ones in the evening that were in the dock area. And then it turned around and we saw it had glowing yellow eyes. At this point, we were freaking out, wondering what was, because there was something totally off about it, and it was clearly not a normal human. What gave that away?
The glowing yellow eyes.
When we got even closer, it spread its wings. It flapped a few times and soared off into the sky. It was way too big to be a bird. I've never seen anything like it before. It was probably around 6 foot tall, really dark, almost black. Its whole body and wings were almost black in color.
Could it be some bird? Like some unknown, like rare bird?
A sandhill crane.
Yeah, not that one.
They have red eyes, right? Remember?
Yeah, but this was yellow.
They have yellow eyes.
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
Wood stork.
Is it a wood stork?
Well, there are a lot of wood storks in the area.
Ooh. You think it could be?
I think some of these could be a wood stork.
I don't know what a wood stork is.
They're humongous.
Let me look.
They're storks that literally hang out in the woods.
Let me go to the... Oh, makes sense. Fitting name.
Let me finish this and I'll tell you my wood stork story that was in Illinois. So yeah, not sure if this is interest, but we also saw a UFO in Prairie Creek around dusk a few years before. Same thing has already been reported, right? The lady had one in Rockford, seen a UFO 2 years before she's seen them.
The diamond shape
They're a
one.
Mothman.
Yeah.
So they seen a UFO, the same area, 2 years before they seen their thing.
Okay.
So yeah, just throwing that out there. So I'll tell you my wood stork story real fast.
Yeah.
It was in Illinois. I'm trying to remember where. We weren't near Chicago. It was one of our fun trips, maybe in the Kankakee area. So I had to pee. We're so far away from everything. So we stopped off at a bank. We were having lunch, and I go into the woods to go to the bathroom. I hear like a velociraptor, and then a big slam, like wood clapping together.
Okay.
And then I hear like, slam. And I'm like, and I got my waders around my ankles, and I'm like, what's going on? And then from the other side of this massive tree I was peeing on, this giant dinosaur head peeks over and looks at me and goes, and slams its jaws together. And that's the slam. It was a wood stork, and I was about peeing on her nest.
Yeah.
They make giant nests. So she was on the ground. They're huge. They're like 5 foot tall, and they're not rare, but they're not common. They're very secretive birds.
Yeah.
They're very large.
Till you find their nest and pee on them.
And I could see, let's say there was a wood stork at the end of her dock.
Yeah.
And I could see it being human-ish in shape. They're 5 foot tall, and then it opens its massive wings and takes off, right?
Yeah.
But they're not very agile. Storks aren't known for being, high flyers or fast flyers or anything like that. They're more like these big gliding creatures. So I don't think a lot of these are wood storks, but that would be the one you could point to.
Okay. There we go.
Wood storks, literally sandhill cranes, or big owls.
Right.
Great horned owls are bigger than most people realize.
It's important to have those, biological perspectives, on the record.
That was one I could say being a wood stork or, one of the cranes or herons.
Okay.
Because it's literally on the end of their dock. It's dark. They admitted it was dark.
Yeah.
So they're already losing a lot of detail. Looks like a guy.
And it flapped, it flapped and flew away like a actual
bird,
not like
it just jetted off into the sky.
Like some jet propelled Mothman suit wearing government official that's abducting children. That's what?
They had a badge and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So let's move to 2008. A man reports seeing a winged creature with human proportions while traveling with his husband and their friend in northeastern Illinois. That was late July 2008.
Progressive.
Yeah, well, I've said it wrong before, but that one is his husband.
Oh, okay.
That's that one. The one I'm going to read is August in 2008. A witness reports seeing a big gray humanoid creature with big wings while attending a bonfire in
Rockford? Caro.
Mount Pleasant.
Oh, that's
Point Pleasant. Mount
close.
Pleasant.
Very
this is Wisconsin.
Eerily similar.
So they were at a bonfire 2008. I'm 29 years old, and I live in Riance, Wisconsin. I think it's how it's pronounced. Pretty much my whole life. I work third shift and get pretty bored. So tonight, I decided to Google monsters and legends in Wisconsin. One of the links was a Phantom of the Mars article that led to the gargoyle sightings in 2019, and the other sightings in Chicago O'Hare International Airport in the surrounding areas, and the more recent in August this year. I was so happy and excited to see these reports. One night back in August 2008, I was living in the area of Lake Park neighborhood in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin, with my mom. My cousin and I were having a bonfire. We were talking, and I happened to lean back in my chair and look up at the smoke going into the sky. And as soon as I did, I saw a big gray humanoid creature with big wings flying through the smoke and off into the darkness. I had my eyes fixed on it for a good 7 to 10 seconds and saw 2 legs and arms, but was unable to get a good look at the head or the face. I didn't know what it was when I saw it, but now I'm certain it wasn't a bird or an owl or anything of the like. I kept it to myself for fear of ridicule, or people think I was crazy. But I was so happy to see your articles, and I'm happy to share. Hopefully this helps bring more people forward.
Hopefully. But I think it did.
It did. So nothing in 2009 to go about.
Another blank here.
2010, a man reports a 4.5 foot tall, dark colored entity perched on the peak of his neighbor's roof. I don't go into the story fully. This was an owl.
You think so?
Yeah.
Probably. Okay.
Yeah. It's only 4 foot tall. So,
okay.
And it's very owl-like.
A 4 foot tall owl-like creature perched on a roof.
We call those owls here in Ohio. But once, to the credit, great horned owls are not only rare, they're also extremely secretive animals.
Okay.
They have a humongous range, and they can just kind of pop up in an area for a minute.
Wherever, yeah.
So if you've not accustomed, like let's say the only owls you maybe, if you're lucky in your life, you see is like barn owls, barred owls. Those are different things, but they're the common ones, and you kind of can see them during the day. They'll kind of get just stuck in an area, and they'll hang out until it gets dark again. So if you're accustomed to seeing those much smaller species, and then all of a sudden there is a literally 4 foot tall eagle-sized owl on your neighbor's roof, it's dark.
And it might as well be 8 foot tall at that point.
But he says it's 4 foot tall.
Okay, true.
So, I mean, it's very owly.
Yeah.
Late summer of 2010, two teenagers report seeing a winged deer bat
Oh, geez.
while driving outside of
Rockford, Illinois.
yes,
I got it this time.
a second sighting of something described as a flying tar man reportedly took place near the same time.
A flying tar man?
And I think they mean like the black goopy.
Yeah.
Like tar.
Right, yeah, like on a road. Yeah. Or I guess that's asphalt, but whatever. You know what I mean.
They, Singular 40 contacted these recent witnesses who claimed to see a creature similar to flying humanoids that had been haunting around Lake Michigan area for years. Witnesses who agreed to attach his first name, which was Dalton, for the first report of his encounter only 2 years ago. This took place in 2010. If I had not experienced it firsthand, I would probably dismiss it as fiction. Please, I assure you this is 100% the whole story of what happened on that particular night. So it began as a typical summer day approximately 5 years ago. These events took place in northern Illinois near Rockford. My friend Nick and I were cruising around in our 1997 Firebird. As the day progressed along, we decided to head towards the county road to do some drifting. Typical behavior of a 16-year-old in his sports car. This was something we did quite often. You better wake up.
Oh, I'm awake.
Jumping ahead to 2 hours or so, it was around 11 p.m. We were on a gravel road located to be scheduled by, or this location was scheduled by what farmland elsewhere. So there was houses every so often, but nothing really. Now me and Nick were talking while I repeatedly.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, I heard it too. Like a pop. But out of nowhere. That was odd.
That was weird.
We're still recording, right?
Yeah, that's why I turned it on.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It sounded like a click or something.
I wonder if anybody else heard that.
Oh, we'll see. But go on.
I gotta find where I was. This is proof we don't edit.
Yeah, if you made it this far in.
Not scheduled. I meant secluded.
Okay.
Farmland when I said scheduled earlier.
Scheduled farmland. I was a little...
I got a compliment that I think it was Jason said my reading skills have greatly improved in the last year and a half.
All right.
Whoever said it, thank
They're
you.
seeing the growth.
Yeah. So now me and Nick are taking, and I repeatedly slow down and then applying the gas so I could get my vehicle sideways on the straight patches of road. Been there, done that. The corn on the side of the road of this old gravel road were about head height. It was towards the end of the growing season. Anyway, I began to slow down, and probably the fifth time, only I could see that the corn was shaking.
Ooh.
Me and Nick both had stopped talking, and we were both watching the corn. I had expected a group of deer to run out and cross the road, so naturally, I slowed down to a slow roll.
Mm-hmm.
My corn was now shaking fiercely, and something was quickly heading towards the road. Now, at this point, me and Nick were staring at the corn and waiting for what we expected to be wildlife to pass. Now, I'm not sure how to describe this, but from what we saw was absolutely frightening. The corn parted about 8 feet in front of the car. I don't know if you've ever seen a deer jump out of the corn like a horse hop. This thing was about the size of a big buck, but was completely black. Mind you, the headlights were focused right on the stretch of road where the corn was. The whole scene was well illuminated. As it proceeded to jump out of the corn, it opened these huge set of wings and remained airborne. Its flight was right in front of the car, and it did a zigzag flight pattern incredibly fast.
Whoa.
Almost like that of a fly or a bug would do.
Right, yeah.
After it quickly zigzagged, it shot straight up into the air. I mean, shot straight up in the air, almost like a cannon was blasting into space. My Firebird model was a T-top, so me and Nick both jerked our heads up. But due to the light pointing forward, obviously, it was being so dark, we couldn't see anything where the creature went. They had some choice words, and then Nick starts screaming, "Go, go, go." They drove as fast as they could for about 15 minutes, completely quiet. The whole time they were watching around them. Basically, they had this intense fear. We finally started to calm down, and on the road we frequented more. We could see farmers in the field on tractors, being that I could see that other people felt safe. So I decided to pull over to the side of the road and immediately say, "What the F was that thing?" But we had no answers. The only thing that came up was the size of a deer and flew like a bat. And then we named it accordingly, the deer bat.
The deer bat.
We said it was the size of a deer, but it was actually kind of humanoid in shape. And it ran out in front of us, the corn, just like a deer though. The deer bat was incredibly black, like it was covered in tar. After we stopped talking, we noticed that the field a couple yards away was being harvested and processed signs. So again, being dumb teenagers, we decided to steal the sign. I ran up and grabbed it and shoved it in the backseat of the car and threw our hoodies over it. It was a large sign. It had a metal pole that was attached to it. I didn't know it had anything in the back of my Firebird as well. But we managed to be heading out in the country and made it to our neighboring town, New Milford. Both were thirsty and wanted a snack, so I pulled into the gas station in the back of my car into the space that faces the main road. As soon as I shut my car off, the old beat-up rusty Chevy pulls up in front of me as if it's blocking us in. The windows are tinted. We couldn't tell who was in there and what was going on. He remained in there for several minutes just sitting. We didn't get out of the car that night because it was a big old nope. And the last thing I wanted to do was some hillbilly effer trying to start something with us. He, as mysteriously as he pulled up without a warning, he drove off as well.
Okay.
We assumed it was somebody who had seen us taking the sign and he was getting our plates.
Probably.
But maybe he was waiting to confront us. The only problem with that is we entered from the left and exited from the right. So there was never anybody behind us for a car to get our plates. They believe in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it goes on. They keep talking about it. It's almost, they say kind of humanoid, but still kind of deerish.
Yeah.
It sounds like our good old friend, the
Not deer?
Jersey Devil.
Oh, the Jersey Devil. Okay.
Humanish, deerish.
Yes, but until the flying pattern.
Zigzaggy and, then very Mothman.
And then just shoot up. Which, the way he described it as a bug or an insect does make a lot of sense, too. I wonder if it is using its wings not to flap, but as like a frequency to hover or to, I don't know, buzz around the...
Live.
To what?
To just live.
It just buzzes to live. Mm-hmm. I wonder if it does make like that kind of noise though, like a humming from some frequency. I don't know.
So 2011, it says this winged entity was captured on camera. 2 roommates and their friends are reportedly terrorized by glowing eyes peeking through their windows at night. And a college student reports a run-in with a man with wings. This is kind of a local little college area. The picture is not great. I didn't include it because...
Oh, dang it.
It's one of those pictures.
I don't understand.
Like, it's like a blob.
Oh, okay.
And they're saying it's a winged entity that's caught on camera.
Gotcha. Okay. It's hard.
I think it was a bug on the lens or a dust.
Okay.
But
very
who
common.
am I? September 5th, 2011, a man reported following a creature with bat-like wings and a small bulbous head and what seemed to be tentacles extending behind it. And then he's seen it flying over his car in Jackson Park Highland neighborhood in Chicago. So I received a telephone call regarding the winged being sighting on September 5th, 2011, Labor Day. This occurring during the same 3-month period in 2011 where several previous winged being humanoids were sighting and reported by MUFON. Strickland was referring to the investigation of weird winged beings around Lake Michigan, like he talks about. So approximately at 4 p.m., the eyewitnesses were getting off the Metro bus in the intersection of South Jefferson Boulevard and East 67th Street and Jackson Highland Park in Chicago. And he noticed an unusual flying being approximately 100 to 120 feet above him, adjacent to the apartment buildings in his vicinity. The witness described the entity as being black in color with bat-like wings, a small bulbous head, and what seemed to be tentacles extruding from behind it. He stated that it was definitely biological and seemed to be looking down on him and others around him. He began to follow it as it made its way through Jackson Park and over a golf course. As he continued to follow the entity as into the scattering of trees, the entity rolled and displayed an emerald green light on its underbelly.
That's new.
During the entire time, the entity never flapped its wings once, but
like
it
a lightning
flew up
bug.
and down in altitude.
Yeah.
Also, the witness sensed the entity was watching him the whole time as he chased it. It would dip into kind of towards him on occasion, but never determined the structure of its face. The wings being eventually turned towards Lake Michigan and quickly flew to the east.
Yeah. What if these are bug-like? That sounds like a lightning bug.
That also, I can't remember the one from Madagascar. There's a flying entity that has a big glowing horn or a big glowing chest. Mm-hmm. And then Van Meter Visitor.
Right.
The glowing horn.
I wonder if these are bug-like creatures, though.
Giant bugs.
Giant bug.
Tentacles.
Something. Well, okay, that throws it off. No, this is from a different dimension. I don't care. This is different dimension. Bug-like creatures from there. I don't know. This is so crazy. I guess I'm kind of thankful I've never run into one of these. But it would be neat to see sometime. But I think maybe it is a harbinger of doom for other reasons.
Fall of 2011, a man and his brother-in-law report seeing a humanoid with bat-like wings in Dowers Grove, Illinois.
Another one.
Just very classic kind of bat, Mothman like sighting. The winter of 2011, a woman reports seeing a flying humanoid with greenish yellow eyes while driving near Prairie Creek Reserve in Indiana.
Okay.
We're hitting a lot of these same areas.
Spots, yeah.
Like if you can't tell,
Breeding grounds.
that are just clusters of sightings. And Prairie Creek's not a big area, but it's where the sandhill crane or the wood stork was seen.
Oh gosh.
Now, in very classic, the events unfolded in town, not at the lake at this one, but it's just seen like a human open its wings and started glide off, never flapped its wings, but had its wings open. Summer of 2012, so jumping a year forward. So 2012. A witness was driving towards Indianapolis International Airport in Indiana, reported having almost collided with a bat-like entity with little red eyes.
Okay.
Smaller, kind of like that first gargoyle that flew over the car hood.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to that encounter.
Okay.
Where this thing flew in front of her car and she almost smoked it.
So this more classic Mothman-y.
Yeah. But much more kind of looking like that bat being.
Okay.
Very demonic little bat creature.
The hammerhead bat?
Yes. No, I'm talking about the first, remember
the
first episode?
Yeah.
2014, so we didn't have anything in 13.
Okay.
A man reported coming home from work to find a Mothman type insectoid staring at his apartment building. You know, I hate you.
See?
You ruin everything.
Well, the clues.
I have like 100 more settings we have to go through, and the bug angle was going to come up.
It's the clues. The clues set them off. My brain's just...
All right. Shut up.
It's the DNA.
Shut up. Greg from Hardwood Heights, Illinois. He saw a weird winged humanoid 3 years ago. So I was coming back from work 3 years ago. It was about 1:30 in the morning. I pulled it up to my driveway, and something caught my eye on the side. I walked up the stairs and went to the window. I lived on the second floor. I looked out my window across the street and saw a crypto, if you will. A Mothman type insectoid. Small body, unusually large head, no red eyes, but it kept just staring at me. I went to make tea, feed my cats, came back, rubbed my eyes to see if I was just tired and seeing things. And sure enough, it was still sitting there. One important thing was I had no foreboding fear, nothing whatsoever, that I just found interesting. I was shocked as many people had seen similar things. I went several times, and I would say that about 4 or 5 times, just peering outside, looking out my window, and it just stood there. I live in a small town near Chicago. I figured the police would do their rounds sooner or later, and they would see it. You could hear a pin drop. It was such a small community. Sure enough, no one was around. It did not faze me to take a picture, but I did have a smartphone at the time, but overall, no fear or nothing like that. You're just there in shock because you just can't believe what you're seeing. Mm-hmm. You listen to accounts of people and they think you will be better in the situation. I went back several times and I was just listening to your show last night, peering out and every now and again, and it just kept standing there. In the morning, I went to see if there was any trace of it. It was gone. So yeah, all above, it was the strangest thing, and I was not afraid at all. There you go.
Okay.
Just like a big bug.
Yeah.
Just a bug guy.
See?
Hanging out over the street. It didn't move, okay? That's my problem with it. Like, I get that it just never moved around. Did he say when the date was? That may affect what I'm going to say next.
What's that?
He just said, it's 2014, but he never said when.
What month?
Halloween decoration.
Oh, there you go.
And some kid stole it the night, and that's why he didn't see it again.
Exactly, yeah.
But no, we talked about this man and stuff like that. You know, this insectoid.
Yeah.
Big head, little body. But yeah, there you go. In November of 2014, a fire and rescue officer and his partner reported a green-eyed winged humanoid in downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
So green-eyed.
They just seen it running around.
Oh.
In August of 2015, a man was driving in Gary, Indiana.
Oh, no.
A dark, grayish, prehistoric bird swooping in with leather. I can never say that word.
Leathery
skin.
Yeah.
So he called it a prehistoric bird. I think he meant pterosaur.
Okay.
The picture he drew was a pterosaur.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But he called it a bird.
Do pterosaurs have red eyes?
You know, I'll have to check.
Did they do that on Walking with Dinosaurs? The red-eyed pterosaurs?
No.
How can they tell? They can't tell what color a creature's eyes were.
No, they don't. They have no idea.
So what if all dinosaurs had glowing red eyes?
I'm not saying it's impossible.
Wouldn't that be nuts? What if you went back in time and they were like just completely, we're so far off. They got glowing red eyes. They have like...
You ever seen the picture of... So, you know, we have a problem with dinosaurs. Skin wrapping them is what it's called.
Okay.
Where you like put the meat and skin like really tight to their bones and stuff like that.
Okay.
So when you look at T-Rex and you look at T-Rex skeleton, they pretty much look the same, right?
Okay. Yeah.
If you look at something like an orca skeleton and an orca's body,
Oh,
they
yeah.
look nothing alike.
Right. Exactly.
It looks like one looks like a crocodile snake.
Yeah.
And one's a whale.
Right.
Right. So a guy did it, unskin wrapped a bunch of dinosaurs, and he made a T-Rex absolutely so fat.
Yeah.
Like it had blubber and everything like that. And it was the best thing ever. That's what I hope whenever my time machine comes through and I get to go look at dinosaurs.
Wait, I forgot to put in the crystals.
The T-Rex is just fat.
It's a fat, like
Like a
blubbering oaf. Not even dangerous.
Just happy.
Just fat scavenger.
They all
fat
ate
and
fruit.
sassy.
It's getting fat and sassy. Yeah. So November 1st in 2015, a woman reports seeing a crow man hovering over her high-rise apartment near Chicago's Washington Park.
That was when they were shooting the movie The Crow.
Yes.
That's all that was.
This is a 10 a.m. sighting.
Oh, that's different.
November 1st, I was chatting on the phone with my good friend, my own business, making plans for brunch. I glanced out my bedroom window and immediately noticed something was out of place. There was a very large crow man just hovering over the high-rise apartment building blocks away from my house. A man, jet black from head to toe, upright, hovering in the air about 5 feet above the Midwest Senior Center apartments on East 60th Street. For reference, it's 17 stories high-rise apartment building directly across the street from Washington Park on the south side of Chicago.
Easy. I know what this is. It's Chris Angel. It's Chris Angel doing a magic trick. Duh.
And she just goes on. She was on the phone with her friend, and she's watched this thing. She thought it was a Halloween decoration that got caught on the top of the building.
Or it could be that.
So
But
she thought it was that. So she was kind of looking at it like, well, that's kind of
odd.
weird.
Yeah, that's Chris Angel floating.
And then it took off and it flew. She thought it was a balloon then at first.
It's still Chris Angel to me.
She thought it was a balloon from a janitor's science club.
Oh my gosh. That's the joke.
She did think it was a balloon though.
Okay.
And so she's like, okay, it's just something, it's that because it's kind of floating down and being pushed around by the wind. Then she realized it was a living thing as it dropped its wings and fell from the 20th story to the 3rd floor and then took back off again.
Holy crap. Chris Angel really upped his production value. It's not all just cameras and fakery anymore.
She goes into the thing where she said I wouldn't say it flew at all, but it literally kind of hovered in position, dropped, and then restarted to hover.
Yeah.
And so she started Googling like crow man sightings, and then she came across the Mothman stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to 2016. We're almost there.
Our last year.
Our last year until next week.
Yes, next week.
A woman reports seeing, actually,
Yeah.
I'll bring that up. There won't be we're going to take a break from the Mothman saga next week because it'll be Christmas.
Well, no, not next. Wait. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're
Yes.
right. You're
So
right.
our Christmas episode
Time
will come
travel.
out. There'll be so in this 4-part series, there'll be a gap.
That's right. You need a break.
It'll be the Christmas special.
Yay.
Yay, Christmas. Early summer 2016, a woman reports seeing a prehistoric bird after dropping her kids off at the school in
Rockford, Illinois.
Gary, Indiana.
Oh, gosh.
Good guess. I would have guessed Rockford,
That
too.
dirty old town.
It's been like the same 5 towns,
It
right?
is, yeah. And Gary's the scariest one. Scary Gary, Indiana.
Gary, Indiana is the worst town in the U.S.
I
It is
agree.
so dangerous.
I've driven through it like twice, and it's like, make sure you're double checking your doors are locked.
We refused a survey in Gary, Indiana.
Yeah?
And we keep in mind, we were going in the hood of Chicago
Yeah.
with thousands of dollars of equipment. And we refused Gary, Indiana.
Yep. Says something.
Yeah. So yeah, once again, they received a report on January 23rd from a witness. Big, grayish, prehistoric bird in Gary, Indiana. Sir, I hadn't experienced this, seeing this big, grayish, prehistoric bird. It was 7:40 in the morning on a clear, sunny day. I was driving down Broadway in Gary, Indiana, right across from the gas station, right before you get to the exit on I-65 South. I was shocked, wondering why no one else noticed this creature. It didn't have a man's face. It had a beak that was pointy. The wings were really long. The wings did not flap. The creature flew low enough for me to just get a look at it. And then there it was. At first, I thought I was crazy, and I waited to see a couple days before I told my husband. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I know what I saw. I know what I saw!
I know what she saw, too.
I do, too.
Yeah.
It's a dill grain.
No.
After a couple weeks...
It's that wood stork you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, wood stork. After a couple weeks, I saw it again in the same area.
See?
But not the same spot. Stop it. I got to read a lot.
Sorry.
Also, this one was was the same, but smaller.
Ah, baby.
It did not look like a bat or an owl. So I Googled prehistoric birds, and then I saw the best picture of what I could describe as. After I looked it up in the sky, looked up at the sky often, but hadn't seen it again. I also thought about reporting it, but people, of course, would think I was crazy. It came to me that the woody, dense areas in the area was likely where it hid. Lon called the witness immediately after receiving the email. She gave the exact location of the sighting, and near the gas station once had a fairly thick grove of trees in the vicinity. The trees were cleared recently. Yeah.
Wood stork.
They do live in thick groves of trees.
It must be hiding in the woods over there. Wood stork.
The sighting occurred, in the summer of 2016. The creature on her way home. The body was approximately the length. So she said of a van.
The length of a van?
Yeah. So it was like a big. She thought the picture she put up was a classic, the pterodactyl, pterosaur.
Yeah.
She said it was as long as a van, but the wings had a width of double that length. So that's kind of, what you would expect. Most birds or flying creatures their wings are 2 to 3 times as wide as they are long. She is positive that it was a pterosaur-like being after looking at her examples online.
Okay. Pterosaurs have beaks?
Did I ever tell? Yeah.
Oh.
Did I ever tell you when my sister, we convinced her that pterodactyls were still alive?
No.
Raina, I can't remember how old she was, maybe like 9.
Okay.
And because she would see the herons, because herons throw their legs back.
Yes.
And they have so we're like, yeah. She's like, we were in our little boat. She's like, there's a pterodactyl. And we're like, yeah, you didn't know they're still around? She's like, no, I thought they were all, And so she went back to the campground telling everybody that pterodactyls are still around.
So she saw one.
Yeah.
She saw a baby one, didn't she?
No, I mean, it was big to her. I mean, she was 8.
True.
Great blue herons are
Pretty
fairly
big.
large birds.
Yeah, they are.
So yeah, she was.
You guys are mean.
Anyways, this lady goes on. She is very confident she's seen a pterodactyl. She contacted tons of people.
What? Oh, I thought you were talking about your sister
No.
for a second.
No, this lady did that though.
Okay.
She contacted tons of people, including like remote viewers,
Oh no.
and went the whole this lady's story.
She went all out.
So I will show you the drawing she did of the pterosaur.
Okay.
Now I want you to see if you notice something about it.
Okay.
Look.
All right, let me lean in. Sorry, microphone. I got to lean in. All right, hold on.
Good radio.
Okay. Like am I noticing like the wings on it?
You see the body, how it ends.
With
The
like
big long tail.
yeah,
But there's no legs,
there's
right?
no legs at all.
That's probably the legs of a sandhill crane
No,
behind it.
no.
She is adamant. It wasn't a bat or an owl. It was not a seagull. It was no crane or anything of the like.
Oh, here we go.
She just thinks something survived and it was real. Now, I do think there's something to this pterosaurs that are being seen because they're seen all over the world, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about it. I don't know if we've ever done it. We've never done a full episode on it but we kind of talked about it where it could be convergent evolution.
Okay.
Or,
Yeah.
It could be something that kind of took over that niche of giant flying things.
Mm-hmm.
There were what was called pterosaurs, which were the largest flying birds of all time.
Yeah.
And they, quote unquote, went extinct recently. Like Argentavis and stuff like that were
Right.
massive birds.
Huge. Or huge.
Huge. Also, there could have been re-evolution or re-evolving to where small, very, very small pterosaurs survived. Because some of these pterosaurs were the size of bats. Like,
Yeah.
you could fit several of them in your hand.
Yep.
And they had the genetics of their big cousins. So after everybody else went extinct, they re-evolved into that niche and got big again and just have really low numbers. I think either are likely. This lady, I don't want to go super into her story alone. She had the biggest encounter in this entire list
Yeah.
because
She's contacting everybody.
she's very odd.
Okay.
And she goes into the time slips and parallel universes and the government. Like, she throws all kinds of stuff out
Ooh,
there.
what kind of lady?
Yeah. She's 85, so she's right up your alley.
No, not my kind of lady. Those are the ladies that like me. It's a difference.
So another 2006 one, or 2016, a woman reports a huge winged humanoid flying over Ivering Park neighborhood in Chicago, Illinois. Very classic. We've already talked about, very humanish shape, big wings, flying jet black color. They say the wings were about 20 feet wide and it was about 10 feet long.
That's big.
It was very, very black. It was almost like it was silhouetted, but it had bat-like wings.
It was covered in that paint.
But once again, broad daylight sighting. So it's odd. Next one's August. We have several in August. August 2016, a man reports a large winged humanoid perched on his lamppost in Cairo, in Chicago.
Cairo.
This happened in episode 1 in Indiana,
Okay.
where this Mothman-like creature was perched on a lamppost. Mm-hmm. So it's just odd that, it's a lot of the same stuff keeps reoccurring.
Repeated behavior.
Jonathan Lane reports seeing a giant, shapeless black thing with 2 extremely large red glowing eyes in
Gary, Indiana.
Rockford, Illinois.
Oh, dang
I
it.
tricked you.
Dang it.
And he goes into, it was like a big flying blob, but he feels that it may have lost some of the detail due to him being focused on these giant red eyes. Mm-hmm. This is much more kind of classical Mothman, where don't look into the red eyes. Very almost hypnotized.
Yeah.
And it's made all kinds of sounds. And he said it sounded everything from the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park, like the Velociraptors, when they'd make their high-pitched screeches,
Right.
to like mice. Very Mothman-esque.
Yeah, very much. The mice is, yeah.
And he took pictures of his area. It was, kind of just a normal neighborhood, right? Another one in August was a man was driving in Gary, Indiana.
Here we go.
And his second report of a dark, grayish, prehistoric bird with a smooth, leathery wings, like we already talked about. The same kind of creature, the same kind of pterosaur-like thing was seen in Gary, Indiana again. Late in September 2016, a woman reports a man-like being with pterodactyl-like wings gliding across a highway in Whitewater, Wisconsin, another place we've talked about several times in these episodes. Mm-hmm. And she describes it going into detail. It didn't flap its wings. It was like a man it was like Jeepers Creepers again, uses that kind of same terminology.
Right.
With like a man with pterodactyl wings behind it.
Okay.
Mid-November. Oh, did I skip one? No, okay. Mid-November 2016, a man and his son report seeing a large, dark flying humanoid while duck hunting in West Alton, Missouri. This one's pretty far away from the rest of the encounters.
This is a one-off one.
But it's very similar. It wasn't flapping its wings. It was gliding slowly at a downward angle, about 50 yards from them, and it starts going back up again. They could clearly see it was very, very similar to a bat in general shape, but huge. The color was dark, almost black, as far as they could tell. Its body was tapered like that of a well-built man with extremely long legs.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The
head was very small compared to the body, but they definitely knew it was not a human. They were both caught off guard. What?
This flying thing with wings. We definitely know it's not a human.
So they're both caught off guard, but they said mesmerized.
Yeah.
By what they were seeing. It landed in a thick patch of weeds by the water that was obscured from their sight. At that point, they both wanted to go out of there because they had no idea what the thing was.
Right, yeah.
As we quickly walked along the road, we saw the thing crawling out of the weeds and into a small clearing. So this giant, huge, long-legged Batman, lands in these weeds, and as they're trying to leave, they see it crawling along the ground on its belly.
Just looking for some grubs.
They could hear the sound of it was making as it crawled through the damp mud. It didn't look like it was struggling, but it was like it was awkward moving along. It thought it had legs. I could not make out where its feet were, though. I assume it was how it actually moved on the ground. And then it slid into the water and raised up a few times like it was swimming, doing a breaststroke. That's kind of weird because that's how giant fruit bats fly.
So you think this could be a giant bat?
Well, like, I think it's similar body where they don't look like when they're on the ground, they have to crawl on their bellies.
Right, yeah.
Because their body's how they're designed. When they fall in the water, they actually kind of like have to throw their wings up.
Right, yeah.
And do like a breaststroke. So I just, comparing the body plans, it makes biological sense. That what they're describing is very bat-like.
Hammerhead.
And I don't even think hammerhead, but I don't even think it is a bat. But just that kind of body plan.
Gotcha.
That is how it would react with the environment if it landed and had to swim. Don't know why. Yeah. It's a weird one. And that's it.
Dang. So
About
that's 16
another
years.
hour and a half.
16 years of Mothman in that general area.
So Mothman won't be back until the 1st of January.
Oh, yeah.
Literally on the 1st, it'll come back.
Well, yeah. I mean, 2 weeks. So we get a Christmas episode in between this.
Yeah, you guys, we're still going to do all our normal stuff and everything like that.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out a different recording day that week because it's on Christmas. We normally record.
Well, no, it's the day after we normally record.
Oh, sorry. Yes, You're right. Well, then we can still do it.
Yeah, we'll be right on schedule. We won't miss a beat, people. Yeah. We do this for you.
We do this for you.
Yes.
So what's kind of your general feel? I know I kind of sped up towards the end, and I just kind of do that to show you the ramp up to 2017.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. I just think there's obviously some phenomena going on, and it seems to be a hodgepodge of different creatures. So exactly, I don't know.
But similar... Different and similar at the same time.
Right,
it's very
right.
weird.
Yeah, they have similarities, yes, but some of them are clearly different. So I don't know. Yeah, it's very strange, very weird. So something's going on in this whole general area.
I mean, everything from pterodactyls to giant bats, several just giant bats.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And to much more Mothman-like creatures.
To Chris Angel floating above her.
Chris Angel. To more those demonic things from episode 1.
Right, yeah, the gargoyle-like things.
The gargoyles. And the gargoyles did not make a strong appearance in this second set, but they were still there.
Yeah, still made an appearance.
And then Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah, that thing.
Which is, I'd call that a gargoyle-like thing.
I would too, yeah.
But I think that the Jeepers Creepers movie, I don't know if they just got more popular, so that's why people could use it as a reference more.
Something to compare to, yeah.
Than gargoyles.
Right. Probably the same thing, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So odd. Do you have any, and then insects, the other insect type.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any guesses what's going on? I have a couple theories.
Yeah, I do, but I don't want to.
Go ahead.
I don't want to jump into all that yet because I need the full scope of everything.
No, I want to see where you're at right now.
Oh, it's either
the listeners would enjoy it.
Interdimensional bugmen things or some government thing opening up these portals, and then we got people containing them, recapturing them. I don't know. My mind's kind of mixed up right now about which one it is. I don't know if it's all this different Mothman stories or if it's my gut biome being off this past couple weeks. But something, I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but this is weird. It's weird, and it's all in generally there's relatively the same area.
Do you know what happened in 2017?
Not specifically. I don't know.
Mr. E went to Chicago.
Uh-oh. Bum, bum, bum. And with that, there's your teaser.
I've been the great and powerful Mr. E.
And I've been J Clone 215. Is that right?
I'm going to buy you a new mic stand or something. You make so much noise. We'll catch you next week with our Christmas special. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy whatever else you celebrate. Hopefully you just spend time. And then, like we've said in all of our episodes coming into the holiday season, the Christmas season, check on your friends, check on your family that, there may be loners at this time. This is a very hard time for some people also.
Yep.
So just be that positive light in somebody else's life.
Exactly.
Once again, I've been the great and powerful Misery.
And I've been Jay.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the Cryptids of the Corn podcast.
Please share with a friend you think would like us. It's the best way to help our show grow.
Leave a comment, rate us, a 5-star review, and remember, there is always extra content on Patreon/CryptidsOfTheCorn.com.
And don't forget, stay magical.